Hey guys, hi, this is Preeta Balakrishnan here. I am a women's independence coach, and my vision is to help 100,000 women become self reliant. I am a mother of a aspiring national level swimmer, a loving wife, an advanced scuba diver. I dive too, but I'm really scared. I love singing, dancing, and love connecting with people, to make a difference in their lives. I have close to 20 years of experience in HR consulting, facilitation, and coaching. And what am I doing here? I'm actually doing a live interview series specifically on women power in digital entrepreneurship, and you will see people from different walks of life, whether it is HR head from an industry, or an artist, or an entrepreneurs. I'm going to be interviewing them on this particular topic, which is women power in digital entrepreneurship, just to gather ideas, thoughts, suggestions, and more or less become more aware about this particular area. Today I actually have Hiren Tanna with me, and thank you so much, Hiren, for accepting this invitation in such a short notice. Hiren Tanna is actually working in a software industry and is aspiring entrepreneur, and he in fact is a digital marketing consultant, social media expert, strategist, and speaker. He has a degree in MBA, IIM Roorkee certified digital marketer, and has close to 15 years of experience in digital marketing strategy, social media management, blogging, and lead generation. He's also taught in various colleges, a regular speaker at various digital forums. And thank you so much, Hiren. I know I just asked you and you accepted, and thanks for trusting me, and thanks for being there. So I have a series of questions that I'll be asking you on this particular topic. Yeah, Hiren?
I was just saying thank you. Thank you for calling me here.
Yeah. Sure, Hiren. So I wanted to start off, asking you, do you want to introduce yourself, or why do you think this topic is important at all? Do you think it makes a difference in your lives? Why do you think this particular topic is important at all?
Importance-wise, I think women and men both are created equal in some ways. And in business, you see a lot of productivity, or I think women are more productive and more focused in terms of work, what they do, compared to men. So, yeah, if people are good, they should be there, no matter the gender.
Okay. So it's not very clear, Hiren, but if you can, yeah, sure. So let me move on to the next question. What do you think is the real problem when it comes to the lack of women's presence in entrepreneurship roles or in chief executive roles? You must be aware that you don't have too many women either at the leadership level, which is like 0.2% that is there, or even at an entrepreneurship, we have only in India, especially it is India, we are bottom, abysmally low. We are third from the bottom after Pakistan and Bangladesh. So why, what do you think is the real problem when it comes to this, based on whatever experience?
The problem is the challenge women generally have, that they tend to give more priority to their families after a certain age. So by the time you reach the age where become or grow into your organization, they tend to move to their household responsibilities. So, and plus, in a senior role, you need more time. You require more time, traveling, and all that stuff, right? So sometimes they can't give that much time, and it's difficult for men too, but they can sometimes. And it's not just that yeah, there might be less number of women currently in the senior roles and all, but in India, we see a lot of since last 30-40 years, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs who are doing good. Take the case of Nirma, right? Nirma, Amul, they all are actually focused based on the women and all. So they are there. Might not be in the job roles, but they are doing really good in terms of their own startups and all that. Just go to your story, and there's a section called Her Story. You'll find hundreds of stories of women who have done very well, starting their own startup from scratch. Sometimes they are doing good, sometimes they fail and they do it again. And also that notion of women might not be good fit for senior roles and all is changing now. So
yeah, Sure.
So
Sure.
pretty soon we'll see more number of people, more number of women going on senior roles.
Yeah, hopefully. No, in fact, it has definitely increased from what it was earlier. In fact, the gap was, I think, 29%. Now it's 44%, but still there is a lot of gap. There is leadership at the leadership level. People are really making that effort to promote women so that there are more of them there. While the gap is reduced, it still exists. But I hope to, whatever you are saying, I hope it happens as soon as possible. And that's when coaches like me will help help women out. Okay, so why do you think women okay, you already answered this. How do you think the e-learning industry can really help women? Can it help women? How do you think in this kind of a scenario when
See, for any kind of learning, whether it's e-learning or physical learning, I think women are really great teachers. You'll never see a male teacher in a junior KG or those kind of junior foundational educational platforms, right? So women are really great teachers by birth. But anyhow, we learn from them initially in our first few years of our life. So I think they are really good at teaching people on their methods are different. And e-learning, I see this in COVID-19 situation. Everybody is trying to move online, whether it's business or learning and all that stuff. So that's one place where they can excel very fast. So they should be there. Plus, they have the freedom to uh, specify some certain hours in a day that they can work from anywhere. They don't need to go to office. It could be just one place in your home, and you can work from there.
yeah, so you mean the flexibility part. From a flexibility
Yeah.
standpoint, the e-learning industry can really support women. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, the government is also really helping women out in terms of giving them funds. Financially, one of the data points that we've understood is that women, most of the entrepreneurship in India, most of them are self-financed. And, that's one. And the thing is, most of them are from disadvantaged companies, places. So there is a lot of work to do, but I understand what you're saying. The flexibility part can be taken care of. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So, what steps do you think we women need to take? To take actions for their presence to be felt in this industry. But because when you go and really look at the e-learning industry too, you don't really have too many women out there. So what do you think? I mean, of course, it's growing. We understand, and thankfully, I mean, I don't know. Because of the COVID situation, everyone is going online. But there are certain steps that all of us need to take, and specifically women too. What do you think are those steps or actions that women should take for them to tap?
They should just do more actually. It's not that men or women can do more or something, but just start taking action. Like I know from your group and other groups, my coaching groups and all, there are a lot of women who are doing really well in terms of whatever they are doing. Their industries or niche could be different. Like it could be parenting, coaching, other types of e-learning and all that. Even in some cases, startups as well. But it is the areas of their work are different sometimes, but they are really doing good. I have seen a lot of startups or work from home moms who are doing 6 figures or 7 figures in dollar revenue in US and all. It's happening in India as well, but not that much. But yeah, hopefully it grows.
Hopefully it grows. Yes. Okay, so do you see that? See, one of the things that you see in an e-learning industry in any platform, I mean, this is something that we as women face, that as challenges, like right? For example, me being in the e-learning industry and trying to build my influence there, sometimes what happens is even to get women leads online, there is more than 70% of the space that is occupied by the men out there. And sometimes, if you want to get those leads organically, just women leads organically, it gets very tough. And there are sometimes shocking comments that, comes from them, which is really like sort of unexpected when you're trying to do business online, right? So how do you think this can be tackled? I mean, given, of course, we know what is the e-learning industry, we know the presence there of men being more than women. Yeah.
I'll take the leads pass first. So leads wise, see, social platforms doesn't differentiate between a man or woman, right? It's all based on your kind of your ad copy and who you're targeting. If that is correct, it doesn't matter who they are seeing the ad for. And what I know, people don't see that, if there's a lady teacher or a woman teacher who is teaching something, if you see that confident in that video or the photo of the learning and all that stuff, I don't think people it matters. Lead generation, yeah, there are more men in this industry as of now. If you come across a lot of women teachers and all, it's going to happen soon. Coming about the comments part, I think that's part of any working game or any kind of work. Whether you are showing your faces or not, that doesn't matter. We see this on LinkedIn, we see this with celebrities, female, men, even with men, it happens actually generally, trolling and all that, right? So one part is you can just take it head on and reply it in your own language, or just ignore it.
Right, right. Of course. So that's something that as women we know that needs to be done. Sure.
There will always be people who will be hating you, whether it's men or women. If someone is doing well, that's a human nature, I guess, that people start commenting negatively on people who are doing well. So I think just ignore and move on.
Sure, sure. Okay. So some of the things that you're saying is it's improving, from what it was earlier, and we hope to see more of it, more of women that are there in this industry, and it is also good for women to tap this industry and take those steps, because you say that whether it is man or woman, it doesn't matter as long as the content or what you're delivering, is going to be there, and these comments anyway will be there, and one needs to tackle and ignore. And probably there are things like blocking, and can just block that and move on and just focus on making the content, right? Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So any other views that you have in this topic specifically, Hiren, based on the industry that you've been working, right? I mean, you've worked in a software industry, and any other views that you have on this topic, especially on women power in digital entrepreneurship? Like you've already said, any other, just in a word or maximum a sentence, yeah.
So when you see online, right, for every platform you see there are content creators, whether it's women, men, kids, or even babies in some cases, they are doing good. So if you start creating content and using different platforms, it's going to help you a lot compared to the offline parts. You can reach the right audience. Yes, you need the right business strategy to do well. But I think compared to offline strategies, online nature is much better. It gives you freedom as well, flexibility, work from anywhere, anytime. Plus, you can do whatever you want. Like for every passion you have, it's possible to monetize it.
Right.
I see, fashion bloggers, people who are doing just wearing clothes and doing it well. Food blogging is one way. For females, I think parenting is one big niche. What we see here, it's a very big industry now. People who are trying to learn anything from online base, whether it's could be asking questions on what my son's medication could be, some how to teach a parent teach a kid something else. All these niche which women they have already knowledge on, and they can start talking about it. Just like we are doing this Facebook Live or Insta Live, you can just go online, share your tips, and build your tribe around your topic and start it basically.
Right, sure. So what you're saying is just jumpstart. That's it.
That's
what you're. Then jumpstart.
Whatever you love. Don't think about monetizing initially. Once you start doing it and building a tribe, you'll see in the next 3 months. Say if you do something for 90 days, any actions like helping others, in 90 days you will be having a good number of tribe, and they can be ready for monetization in the next stage.
Right. Okay, sure. So time for you to ask me a question, Hiren, as part of this series. Any question that?
Definitely. So how are you going to, what's your plan to help women do better online? I'd just like to know more about your way of making them better.
Okay, so as my value is going to be that I will help them in terms of creating goals for them. See, there are various situations that we go through in life. I mean, especially after marriage and after having a child, it's not that easy to balance work and home. So, after the phase gets over, there are always those thoughts that are there in the mind, whether you want to get back to the corporate world or you want to start entrepreneurship or whatever it may be. So at that point in time, there are a lot of people, who've met me, and that's how even I started my journey. And of course, me being a certified coach, I help people to create those goals and take those steps. So these goals are inspiring goals. They are not like, performance appraisal goals that are there in organizations. I'm nothing against it, but it's not something like I want to become this. It's more like an inspiring goal that you create for yourself. I help them do that, and I help them achieve it too. So at the end of the day, it's not that you have to achieve 100% of the goal, but at least you feel you're in the right direction. So I help women in that path, and I use brain-based methodology in that. Yeah. So okay, Hiren. So one more question I had is, okay, since we're talking about women, and I'm sure I know that you have a woman in your life. So I want to ask you what you want to do today, something nice for her. After you get back, after your whatever, something nice that you want to do for your woman today, for your heroine today.
Not today, but I try to do cooking a little bit. So Saturdays I try to cook something. That's what I'm doing in COVID situation right now.
Okay, great. See, all of us in COVID, that one thing that has happened is we are all together, and whether man or woman, all of us are working at home, domestic and otherwise, right? So great. So thank you so much, and please follow me in this series. And thanks, Hiren, again for joining in such a short notice. I plan to invite, HR heads. One of the persons who's accepted is the Heterodrugs Learning and Development head who's accepted for this interview. There are a few others. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Some good people whom what I mean by good is senior people whom I'm trying to interview in this very same topic. So I request you, Hiren, also to send this across, let people know about this series. So I'm going to have a continuous series of this. I'm also included as part of my own course, where people can view that what are the various views people have with various experiences in different walks of life about this particular topic. Thank you so much. Thanks again. And please do attend my webinars, Tuesday webinars, which you'll know a lot more about.
And I'd like to say something. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for doing these sessions, and you're doing a really good job. Just to see more number of people joining you, your courses, your learnings, and they start their own journeys with you.
Thank you
This is one more way that how people a woman can encourage a woman to join in and get back on their legs, basically, and you succeed more.
Sure. Thanks, Hiren. Thanks for that encouragement, and do let people know about the series that I'm doing. Yeah. Thanks for joining in such a short notice. Bye-bye.
Bye.